Hello, this is Mahlena Ray Johnson with Write Your First Book with Mahlena. And today's topic is because you will never write a book. Mahlena answers the question, why do I need a writing coach? So first things first, if you are thinking about writing a book and you're here, you should start writing now. Take out your phone and type some notes, or get a pen and a piece of paper or a pencil and a notebook and write your ideas down. Or if you're watching this video and on your computer, then type as you watch. And second, who am I? Again, I'm Mahlena Ray Johnson, and first, I wrote 3 books. I'm working on my 4th book. Love it a luau. I went to Loyola Marymount University for film school, and then I went to the University of Southern California for my MBA in marketing, entertainment, and entrepreneurship. So I'm immensely qualified to help you write your first book. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. Because you will never write a book, Mahlena answers the question, why do I need a writing coach? So we today are going to get really real. We're going to keep it really real. And so I've been doing a lot of research over the past year, but very specifically around the topic of writing your first book this fall, and it's in this winter. I've been doing a lot of research on my target market, which is lady bosses and super bloggers like you. And I have been very explanatory about why you should write a book, and people are definitely responding very well. They're very interested in writing a book. And now I am definitely at the point where I'm like, okay, so what is actually happening? And I consulted with 2 of my business coaches, Danny and Trish, and I also have been reading a book that Danny suggested called, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And I have been thinking about Tony Robbins and his very aggressive style, which I'm not really a fan of, and he has lots of energy that I can't match. But there is definitely a new shift that I need to take with the people I talk to about writing a book. I really explain the ease that you can write a book, the organization, and the time management skills, and the fun that writing a book brings. But the thing that I have been lacking is expressing the urgency of why you need to write a book now, in which I'm going to talk about in my upcoming event, You Need to Write a Book Now. But for you who are looking right here and wondering, what about the topic? Because you'll never write a book. What do you mean I'll never write a book? I mean that you'll never write a book unless you get started writing a book. You have to start writing a book to be able to publish a book. So I have also gotten the question, well, why do I need a writing coach to write a book? It seems like I could just do it. And the question I have for you is, have you written a book? Have you written a book? If you have written a book on your own without any help, like I have done, then I want to hear about those stories. I'm not saying to you, you can't write a book. I'm saying if you have written a book without any help, I would love to hear those stories so I can share those stories with my audience and show them how easy it can be to get started writing your book. The other thing that I suggest to you is thinking about athletes. Now, I think of this when I tutor people in my tests, SAT, ACT, GMAT, GRE, MCAT, verbal. I tutor people in all of those, and I always suggest them because they always get a little surprised when I can say something like, well, what about that number? And then they think about that number and they're like, oh my gosh, I finally got what I was supposed to do. Or, did you try this? And I say, did you try this? And they go, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Let me try this. It's the same thing with athletes and their coaches. Now, unlike most professional athlete coaches, I have actually done the thing that I am telling you that you need to do. I have actually written 3 books, and I'm writing my 4th. A lot of basketball coaches, hockey coaches, I don't know about hockey coaches so much, but definitely football coaches, managers of teams, owners of football teams, they've never played the game. They have not been able at any point in their lives to just bounce a ball and toss it up there. They have never thrown a ball. They've never tackled anyone. They've never been tackled, but they're out there telling people, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do to get to the 50-yard line. This is what you need to do to take it into the end zone. And no one's asking them, well, have you actually played the game before? No, but I know everything. Okay. So why do you think it's different for any other activity that you want to be good at? Some people are natural athletes who can just go out onto a basketball court and just, you know what people do in basketball. they shoot the free throws or get that dunk or get the 3 points. They are naturally talented. They can teach themselves everything that they need to do. Most of those people are not playing in the NBA. The NBA has coaches. The NFL has coaches. Soccer teams have coaches. Lots of different sports leagues have coaches. The reason you need a coach, especially for writing a book, is that coaches can show you how to do things without you doing a bunch of work. You don't have to do a bunch of extra work to get your book done. And again, for people who are saying, well, I want to write a book, why do I need a coach? Have you written that book? And ask yourself, why haven't I written that book? Is it really that you don't have time to write that book? Is it really that you have a lot of other priorities going on? Is it that you don't know where to start, and because of that, you haven't started? And the thing that I want to leave you with after telling you that you will never write a book if you don't start is, do you want to look back on your life and say to yourself, well, I should have written a book? Is that what you want to say? I mean, there are lots of other things that you could do with your life. You can go on a sailing trip around the world or take a balloon around the world. You could run with the bulls in Pamplona. You could climb to the top of Mount Everest, or at least to base camp. You could visit penguins in Antarctica. Have you done any of those things? Is there a reason you haven't done them? I'm here because I want to help you achieve that dream in your life. And that's why I'm getting really real today about you thinking about the end of your life and looking back on it and saying, well, I didn't do that. And you can change that now. You're not at the end of your life now, hopefully. You can make a decision now that is going to affect you later and say, I'm actually going to do this. And I'm actually going to find out how Mahlena can help me. And if Mahlena can't help me, maybe there's someone else who can. There are lots of people who can help you write your book. There are. And I suggest that you look into them as well. What I'm saying to you is that you need to get real about whether you actually want to write the book. Because if you think it's something that would be cool, but you don't really want to make time for it, then you're never going to do it. You're never going to write this book if you don't start. You're never going to write the book if you don't make a plan to start. You're never going to write a book if you haven't written anything down. And why me? Because I'm here and I want to help. As I've told my spouse many times, I'm not really good at sales. I am really, really good at helping people get on the path that they want to get to, or the path that they need to take to get to where they want to go. As I told someone yesterday, one of my favorite stories of what happened this year with me is that I had a student who wanted to take the GMAT so that he could go to business school. And I explained to him the steps that he needed to take before we even got started. And we met for a few sessions. I showed him about the GMAT. I told him about what to do to actually get into business school. And before we even finished we even got to the end of our sessions, he had applied to business school because one of the schools said, please apply, you don't need the GMAT, and he got in without even taking the test. Can I do something like that for you with your book? Possibly. But if you don't even start to write, or if you don't even reach out to me and say, hey, I need help, then I can't help you. So I don't want you to be one of the people who looks back on their life saying, I never wrote that book I really wanted to write. I never did any of the tens of other things that I always planned to do. I want to tell you that, okay, I want to tell you that I'm a coach who can help you get to where you want to go. And if you are interested in learning more about my program to help you get to where you want to go with your book and actually go from idea to published, please email me at writeyourfirstbookwithmahlena@gmail.com. Again, that's writeyourfirstbookwithmahlena@gmail.com. And if this video goes well, I'm going to make more keeping it real videos for you where I tell people how it is and what's going down. Also, I still like hugs. I'm still a friendly person. So again, if you really want to get your book done and you don't want to look back on your life and say, I never wrote a book, please email me at writeyourfirstbookwithmahlena@gmail.com, which is in the description up there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.